you for being here and taking the time to listen to all these public comments. My name is Daniel Hast. I'm a resident of Madison and a proud member of the TAA, the Teaching Assistants Association of UW-Madison. And I think really the fundamental question here in this jail proposal is, what do we value as a community, and what sort of community do we want to build? Because budgets are moral documents. Budgets say something about what do we value as a society that we're willing to put our resources into it. And I don't think it says something good when over $100 million, so much of our resources are being proposed to go into a really deeply misguided jail proposal. And so we've heard person after person speaking to their experience as people of color living in Madison, talking about how their communities are over-policed, are criminalized, are harassed for no good reason. We've seen the studies, the Race to Equity report, showing the really horrific disparities in incarceration rate, in poverty rates, and all these other metrics within Madison, which is one of the worst in the country, despite how we like to think of ourselves as a progressive city. And so here with this budget proposal, we have the opportunity to take steps in the right direction. Think about what we could do with $100 million, or more than $100 million. As some other people have already suggested, some portion of that money would be enough to basically end chronic homelessness in Madison through Housing First programs, which have proven in many places around the country to be one of the, if not the most effective ways of ending homelessness. We could put the funding toward chronically underfunded mental health programs, toward improving access to health care, toward alleviating poverty. There's all these different things that we could do. But this proposal would instead take away all of that and just put it toward a bigger jail so we can lock up more people. And it's honestly appalling that this is even being considered. So yes, the 6th and 7th floors of this building are, inhumane. The conditions there are inhumane. From what I've heard, there are serious health violations beyond just the simple inhumanity of locking people up for what, with many of them, are essentially crimes of poverty or minor offenses that really do not deserve jail time. Things like mere drug possession or things like that, yeah. And so, so yes, the jail here needs to be shut down, but the answer is not to replace it with more jail cells so we can lock up more people. The answer is to work toward abolishing incarceration as a method of covering up the symptoms of our deeper societal problems, like poverty, like homelessness, and yes, like racism, which mass incarceration, as some other people have mentioned. Excuse me?
You have 1 minute.
1 minute, okay. Mass incarceration, as other people have mentioned, is the continuation of the Jim Crow system in large part. So I urge you to view this budget with the sort of moral seriousness that a decision like this deserves, and reject the jail proposal and support alternatives to locking people up in prison, and especially alternatives to the practice of solitary confinement, which, might I remind you, UN experts have said that solitary confinement in excess of 14 days is a form of torture. And this is an opinion that is backed by numerous psychologists. So really it's a question of, do we want to support health and housing and alleviating poverty, or do you want to support locking up and in some cases literally torturing people? That is the decision you have, and I think it's clear. So I urge you to reject the jail proposal. Thank you.